Welcome to the Roman Arena Podcast, created by the students of Roman Catholic High School in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Here, we discuss various issues and events, plus interview those of influence. It's all from the perspective of the Roman students. Now, sit back and enjoy the Roman Arena Podcast.
Welcome to the second episode of the Roman Arena Podcast. Today's episode is Deep Thoughts. My name is Roman Apomasino. I'm a sophomore here at Roman Catholic High School. Since I'm doing this podcast, I'm a part of the podcast club, but I also play volleyball and as well as some other clubs, so just like ambassadors. Today, I'm joined with...
I'm Andrew. I play volleyball, and I'm in sophomore with Roman.
And I'm Tom. I like to draw my free time, sometimes read, also sophomore, and...
I'm Quinn, also sophomore, just like everyone else here, and things I like to do in my free time, sleep, I like music, and I play music as well.
Sounds great. Today's episode, doing deep thoughts, deep thinking. I feel like this is going to be open discussion, so we're going to ask some questions. Everybody's going to kind of give opinions, maybe like open conversation, which is good because I feel like society nowadays, like straight up, like cannot have discussion. Everybody's like closing their ears and then saying yada yada yada, and then like nobody has any room for rebuttals or opinions. But I feel like this is a great open space.
That is major facts. I'll have to agree with that permanently.
Perma agreement.
Forever.
That's great. And I like the podcast club too. Like podcast club in general. Like I'm glad we're able to do this because, dude, like podcast first thing. We're like the second.
This is the voice of the Roman students.
I know.
We are Roman.
You know.
That's a good point.
That's amazing to think that we are able to come here, just talk about, whatever. I mean, obviously Mr. Penn approves, but you come in, talk about, whatever. I feel like, which is great. I guess we'll get into questions. So the first one, we'll start with, do you think, since I already proposed the original, you see, this is what happens. You try to get thoughts in your head. You see, that's why deep thinking. This requires deep thinking.
You can do this, Roman. You're skilled enough. You
got this, man.
You got this, man.
Since we were talking about, being open discussion and how society, especially on like Twitter, straight up like can't have, or at least it's very difficult to have open conversations.
It's very competitive.
Do you think that culture has a more positive or negative impact on the world? And I'm talking about like society as a whole. So we're talking like culture. So we're saying, let's take like internet culture, for example, and then like people making advancements in the world. So just like varying degrees. Because personally, I think depending on where you look at, it's going to be a negative and positive, like around the board. Like,
I'm gonna have to agree. Yeah. I think every place on the world, or in the world, I should say, has like different ins and outs or negatives and positives with like society, and I think most of the times they weigh each other out, just evening them without any too much of a slip on one side. But sometimes it's like one side is greater than the other occasionally.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just depends on who and how they express their culture. I mean, if you're kind of forcing your thoughts on everyone else, that's not the right way to go about it. But like educating others on it, it's completely fine.
Yeah, I feel like it really depends on the way you look at it, because there is like the imperialistic idea of enforcing your culture on people that, like it's kind of been modernized now, but with more of the like, I guess, melting pot, all the cultures are like coming together into one thing. So I feel like it's more of a positive than a negative, if anything.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, I don't know, as an Asian person, okay, this obviously is very one-sided because I'm Asian, but there's been a lot of news in like specific places. One that I can obviously pull off the top of my head is like Korea. Korea being probably one of the a very notable Asian country, it has a really big impact around the world. We have things like K-pop, I don't know, like other games and other things that come from Korea. But it's like Korea. It seems like a weird thing to say, but they actually have a very weird mindset on things, especially when you compare it to like the West, like America. They have a very closed and like more traditional mindset on specific people and your supposed like skin color, race, or whoever you even are. So I think sometimes changes like that should be made around the world. Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
around the board. 'Cause it's like, I'd say like, let's take, I guess, because in the future, right? I mean, we're present day. We're like kind of living the future, I guess. But right, us right now, like we're heading in like a more internet technological society, and like based on what I see, at least granted, it's all of like the super negative stuff or like the super positive stuff.
Yeah,
like it's
true.
there's no like middle ground. Like, on the
That's
internet.
what get all the I can't speak. That's what gets all of like the attention nowadays. I don't know, like even the news, you can't see anything that's not negative. You can't turn on, I don't know, ABC or whatever and see something that's not negative sometimes. And it's like unfortunate.
You know what's crazy is the fact that like the news is like, because the news stations are, as much as they promote like what goes on around the world, it's still like you need to make money. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah, it's true.
obviously there's a balance, so you're gonna be like, ooh, murder is gonna get people on watching the news every day.
Yeah.
But it's like it's saying it happens, but I feel like they highlight it so much that it seems to be
Like desensitizing.
yeah, like it's happening everywhere. Like every facet of wherever. For example, we're here in Philadelphia, Roman, let's go. But Roman at Roman. It's kind of crazy. But I'd say that like it kind of gives like a false sense of what's going on. Not saying it's like all the time, because again, the internet's like a great, like big place. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But-
a great place.
It's a great place. But I'd say that like the way the news portrays things is like, regardless of what side of the political spectrum you're on, it ends up just making it seem like that's all that's out there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
it's
it
not.
like puts you, whatever you see, it puts it into your head, and it puts you into like a capsulated like area where that's what you take in and that's all you see. So after that, there's nothing. It's just like, oh, present day again. Nothing's different besides what you just saw.
Yeah, that's like with YouTube, the whole algorithm thing. Like,
Yeah.
the best way I could explain this is like you click on one thing and then it appears on everything. Like,
Yep.
even on like Google itself, you'll start getting ads, and like it's a whole privacy thing now.
Yeah, it's just like it's the best monetization to feed our human brains of what we need sometimes, but obviously that gets overboard, obviously.
I'd say.
And it'd be nice if like news and stuff like that didn't just like lean towards like either the extreme positive or the extreme negative, because it kind of just like impacts our view on everything, like how we either think we're in like the best place possible or we're not in the best place possible.
Yeah.
It's like we learned in history class. It's like Mr. Corrigan. Shout out Mr. Corrigan real quick.
We love that guy.
That guy's great. He based on at least what I heard from his class, is that like the best, like based on what, again, since we live in America, democracy is like democracy, or at least I think some like ancient guy, old guy said it, but he said something along the lines of America or democracy is like the best worst.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know what I
Winston
mean?
Churchill.
Yeah, we all remember that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was like democracy is the worst except for everything before it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Democracy is the best, but it's still just as bad as everything.
Yeah, I think that highlights the point. Sometimes it's like sometimes you just have to choose the one that isn't the worst out of everything. Which even though it might still be bad or things might seem negative about it, it has the most. What's the word? It has the most. What the fuck? I think, like, you need to choose between the upsides to the downsides, and sometimes you have to improvise on what you have.
I'd say, yeah, improving. That's one thing.
Improvement. We need that.
I hope that regardless of whether it's negative or positive, like we go in hopefully a positive direction. Because it's like going back to the, I guess, internet culture, right? Because we're still talking about culture being a positive or negative impact. It's like, obviously you're going to have two sides. So like assessing it, it's going to be a little difficult because there's a whole thing we have to take account, and then the internet pretty much encompasses the entire world. So that's essentially saying world, like it's the internet's like a universal world culture, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like connects us all basically.
Yeah, I know. It's
It's
crazy.
crazy.
Like through internet and Wi-Fi and radio waves and yeah.
What?
You see, this is why I love podcasting, man. This is the first one I've done, but like, I love it.
Yep.
It's
There's almost like there's too many of these now. It's like, oh, you gotta. Everyone has a podcast now, but you know, it feels special when you're doing it.
the
Okay.
breathing air podcast. We're just breathing for an hour. But going back to the internet culture, I'd say, especially, I feel like the social media side, as much as there is like, you know, people spreading positive influences, it ends up being like a I'm the best type
Yeah,
thing, and I
it's
feel
very,
like
toxic.
it's, you know, keep going.
Yeah, like it's a whole negative like spiral. So if you click on like one certain topic, that same topic will keep on going down this like deep rabbit hole where you're just getting worse and worse. And especially on Twitter, those like comments get like heated. Like it's horrible.
Yep. It's almost like Elon Musk can't do anything to fix it, but it's okay.
Well, just as a side tangent, because podcasts are nice conversations with lots of side tangents.
Yep.
Apparently, you can buy verification.
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
$8?
comes with, I think, like Twitter Blue. Twitter Blue. So now you do not have to have any following to be verified. You can just buy it, and you basically have the quote unquote premium version of Twitter. So that it literally overrules everything. Like if you were like recommended to someone, it would be first like all the people that were like Twitter Blue, Twitter, like they pay for it, and then you would have to like scroll deep to find like people who don't pay for it, and then they would go like people who had basically zero following would pay, and their followings would maybe like skyrocket, and then now everyone who does not want to spend a single cent now falls.
That's another
So
point of the
unfortunately.
like negative downfall. Like if you can just pay for your opinion to be posted up, that's just like
Yeah.
causing mass like hysteria, basically.
I mean, we see that with Twitter now falling.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
Twitter was a very, obviously, I think we all know that here. Twitter's a really public place. Like it's a public domain to where you can say anything, create any thread you want, post your opinions about obviously anything. Obviously, a lot less different than like Reddit or something, but we see now it's changing how people have to work for things and like pay to get their opinions out, even though that means other people's voices are gone.
Sounds like
I
a like.
mean, I try to stay out of social media in the first place, anyways.
Agreement.
And I'm kind of glad I did, especially now. Like, I don't have any social media. Even in things like Discord, I stay on like private servers. So
I'd say I'm on that note. I'm glad my parents didn't give me a phone until I graduated 8th grade. Granted, my parents and not yeah.
Sorry, I had to say that. It slipped out.
Sorry.
I don't
No,
know.
no. It's
sorry,
fine.
I'm
It's fine. It's fine. But I'm glad my parents. This is welcome to podcast. You see, this is
Keep
we're gonna do
talking. Keep
we're gonna
talking.
do-
It's, I'm sorry.
one
we're sorry.
take, one
I'm
take,
sorry.
one
Keep
take,
talking.
one
Keep
take
talking.
wonder.
It is one take. Yep.
And I
still
want to do
going.
this one take. Whatever happens, happens.
Okay.
That's just how it is. But my parents never gave me a phone until I graduated 8th grade. And my birthday's in the summer, so it's like I never actually got one like halfway through the year or something. They gave it on my birthday essentially, and so I got it. And like, you know, it's one of those things that's like, oh, when I like during 8th grade and like before, I was like, oh, cool. I'm gonna get like I'm gonna be on, once I graduate middle school, I'm gonna get a ton of like all the social media platforms, right? I'm gonna just, you know, be like all cool kids. That's like, you know, be like, yo, I can post whatever I want on there. And it's like, I don't have any now. And I know my parents still like feel like it's not worth it or like don't let me, which I'm perfectly fine with. I'm not gonna go fight my parents about that. But like, I have no inclination to go out and download it. Like I have no, like it's like one of those things that's like, oh, you want to do it so badly. And the minute you're able to do it, you're kind of just like, wow, I have the option to do it, but I don't do it because
it
it's
affect
kind of
my
like,
life at all?
What? Sorry.
It's like I don't know. Social media is one of those things. I don't really use it at all. I think I have about like most social media platforms on my phone. I probably haven't opened any of them in maybe like multiple months. Twitter I never opened. Instagram I never opened. Snapchat. I don't think I do anything on Snapchat besides nothing. I think one thing that doesn't really count as social media, even though it like is would be like entertainment platforms like YouTube, Twitch, Netflix. Well, okay, Netflix is a little bit different because you can't communicate with people, but like those types of platforms where like it's like a open feed, you can post something like a video, obviously, or a live stream like Twitch, and you can have people in and out just commenting and saying what they want.
That's fun. Yeah. So then, as a general consensus, let's just take internet culture as a facet. We're going to, I guess, wrap up the question here.
All right.
Of which, I'm going to restate the question, which is, do you think culture has a more positive impact or negative impact on the world? And I guess we're just going to take, since we've been talking about the internet, we're just going to take internet culture.
Okay.
And I think that, as a whole, like, internet culture is more on the negative side, especially the toxic side when it comes to, like, you as a person. It's literally just about you, and you don't necessarily care about other people. Granted, there's always the outliers, the people who are promoting the good in the world, or the people who are promoting positive messages and all that. But like internet as a whole, I think statistically it's led to like more depression, more like higher suicide rates, especially when it comes to people who are like posting and it's like, oh, my life's not that good. But in reality, it's like, it's a highlight reel of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
So
a lot of
like,
isolation.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, I'd second that.
Second answer.
you don't end up seeing the person on the other side. You think it's more of like you see what you have on your phone and yourself, and then that's it. You don't recognize or realize that there's another person on the other end, and you could be affecting someone else without even realizing it.
What could we do? Like, I guess just briefly, like, what could we do as I'm wondering and thinking, like, what could we as a society do to promote better internet culture, or like at least more positive role?
Probably like just thinking differently. I think humans in general, we have like a different way of approaching things, and we like everyone's obviously different, and we all like have like different opinions on things, but I think we all actually I kind of don't know where I'm going with this, but we do things that aren't exactly good for us sometimes because it feels quote unquote good for us, even though it could lead to something negative. I think main thing that is obviously a lot easier said than done is just changing our thoughts, just changing how society operates and what we think is morally right or wrong.
Okay, I think
mean,
we've come to.
I think it would just take time. It's a matter of just process and like how we move on. It's not like something that a few people or like even a group can do, but it just takes time. As they say, time heals all wounds.
Wow, so wise
Great
of
quote.
Tom Nguyen.
Great quote by the wise.
It's rank one right there. Rank
Rank one. Absolute legend in the academic field. Academic weapon. But we have more questions, so let's keep going. I think this one was the one we all came up with. Should we have best friends? Now, I don't.
Spicy.
Wow. Habanero. Anyway,
I don't know how I did that.
see, this is the thing. The podcasts bring out the quirkiness in you. I love it. Y'all should try podcasting. But should we have best friends? I'm not saying you can't have friends. So this is me. I don't have any best friends. Oh no, crazy. I know. Like, as somebody who's trying to possibly, maybe, very maybe, become president of Roman Catholic High School.
Wow.
Like, I would say I don't really have a best friend. And the only reason why I say this is because I think that best friends put, like, or at least the term, like, puts a arbitrary or like a very, very not menial, but like a tiny, like, or a small, like a very minuscule,
Yeah, it
like,
makes it
ranking system
it makes it
between
like,
friends.
it makes it seem like it just doesn't matter. I was like, oh yeah, you're my best friend. Oh, boom, you're best friend now.
That's
okay.
that's what I'm
I
saying.
feel like the word has been overused.
Yeah,
That's-
So much.
so
lately,
many
too.
words have been overused, including that one, obviously.
Yeah.
It's
'Cause
crazy.
I think the one problem I feel like I'll run into, or at least the problem I associate with having best friends, is like the situation. I feel like this happens more in in like middle school and like elementary school rather than high school, because I think going to Roman Catholic, a lot of us are just like friends with everybody, so it's like everybody knows each other.
No, that's just you, man.
Yep, just you. Student president right there. Future student president.
Actually, just you.
that's
Actually, true.
kind of crazy. What am I announcing my campaign early? Like, what is it?
Yep.
But I'd say that it, like, especially in middle school and like elementary school, having like a best friend ended up leading to like an argument you had to settle yourself, and then it just ended with two people being your best friend because the one person was your best friend, and then the other person found out that your best friend was the best friend, so then you joined the best friend. If that makes sense, and if what I said in my head makes sense.
Yeah, I've always been in like a group of 3, and every single time that I said like I had a best friend, it always ended out wrong. Like one person would be mad at me for hanging out with someone else, and then I just would be distant from them because they kind of like alienated me. And it got to the point where like I just wasn't friends with anyone except for like 2 or 3 people in like a room of like 20 people.
Dang.
Well, I feel like elementary, like especially middle schools, because I went to Catholic middle school. I don't know about the rest
Same.
of you.
Yeah,
I did.
I did.
Catholic, okay. Like the class size is like 20. We had like 30 people in our
Yeah,
class. Our class
yeah.
was
Oh, wow, you're
Yeah,
special.
my class was like 35 actually.
My class
Wait,
was like
30?
16.
That's a lot. That's
So
a
yeah,
lot. Hold on.
yeah. My class was one
Those
of the bigger-
classrooms are
my
not
my class was like the biggest class my school had. Actually, my school was like really small, not as small as Andrew's because Andrew's school was
Yeah, there was
almost minuscule.
there was like 100 kids in the
Yeah.
school.
Yeah, we probably only had 200, but still.
We have like 3. What middle school do you all go to, or that you went to?
I went to Martha's.
St. Hilary in Rydal,
Cecilia's.
Poitiers.
I went to St. Margaret's in Narberth. Yeah, I'm from the suburbs.
Yep.
Wow.
Sounds like it.
30
Suburbs kid.
Wow.
Yeah.
30? oh, yeah. Well, like a 30-minute commute from school to from here to school. That's like not even there because I'm already in the school. You can't hear to school if you're in the school. But you
What?
know. Yeah, it's just,
That didn't
shut
make
up.
sense, by the
Yeah,
way.
whatever.
That hurt my head.
Listen.
Did.
Listen, this is all staying in, by the way. This,
Yep. Well, it kind of has to now, doesn't it?
yeah, I know it does. But like a travel for me to school is not too far, which I'm glad it's not. But anyway, going back to the best friends, I would say that like even though I don't have best friends, it's not saying that I have friends who like I trust very much or I have like okay, so not saying I do have friends who like I trust a lot. And like I know I can hang out with them, either have a good time or like if I need to be real, like I can be real with this person. But like I would call you like a great friend or like a friend who I know I can rely on, but like I wouldn't characterize and add the like best friend title on because I
Yeah.
feel like then it elevates like the person among the rest of the friends.
it
and
makes
then
it something
create
it's
possibly
not.
could create division.
Mhm.
And especially if that one friend is in like a friend group with other people and I like single out that one person and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, well, I want to be like that guy over there. He's cool. He's a best friend with that kid over there. I want to be that guy.
I
And
feel
then it
like-
just ends up in a hot mess.
I feel like that also shows a lot of like immaturity with the like especially younger generation because nowadays you're basically calling everyone your best friend even though you've only known them for like what a few months. So I feel like it just shows how like unknowing people are, almost like ignorant.
I've been talking a lot. Tom, what about you?
You're the
Let's
host,
toss it. Let's
bro.
toss it
You're
in
the
that
host.
direction.
You're the
Here's
host.
the
Come
ball.
The reason why I don't like the term best friends is because best implies that there's only one person that's better than everyone else. And a friend shouldn't be more important than another friend. I mean, I might talk to like one person more than I do to another, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're more important. It just might be my mood or how like comfortable I am with talking with them. But having more than like one or like two best friends just doesn't really make sense.
I mean, from like I guess the terminology standpoint, because best means implying above the rest, which I believe can only be one. Like, there's no two bests unless it's like
It-
two pizza places fighting over each other. Like,
it
I'm
for
the
sure
best.
it for sure implies the best is only one because no one person is another person. It's like, okay, this guy's my best friend, and then you end up calling someone else your best friend, and then it's okay. Like, what makes them both your best friend? That they're both best friends. So how like it just doesn't add up when you say it like very lightly. It's just not right.
I feel like if you put it like that, there would be different classifications of like best friends. So, like, what would determine like one best friend from a different
Yeah.
one?
Yeah,
Like-
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
Would it
like,
be like time or like how close you are with them or like
Or maybe how long you've known them.
yeah like
see, which is why the term best friend is obviously like it's not inherently toxic, but when you put it into a middle schooler's head, and then they think about it, and they're like, oh, this guy's my best friend. Oh, he's my best friend. Oh, everybody's my best friend.
Yep.
And then it's like, okay, well, everyone's your best friend now, but that's not even how that works.
I feel like the worst, or at least the image, because you obviously can't see us. You can only hear us.
True.
Hello. But it's like an echo. Hello. But I'd say like when this coming from, I guess, to the point where it's like as a middle schooler, the people who then brag about being your best friend, like
Yeah, that's
have-
weird.
you have-
that's weird.
that,
yeah.
No
first
cap.
of all, that's weird. Second
That's
of all,
weird.
like then you get into whole nother issues, and then that goes back to the now I got to make sure everyone's my best friend so that they're all on the same even playing field again now, which then totally makes irrelevant the idea of having the best friend.
Yeah, that would just put everyone at the same level, and
Boom.
Yeah,
there's no best friends
but
at all.
you're
Solved.
my bestest friend.
We have solved both best friends on RCHS podcast. I just said that so wrong.
RCH, the Roman Arena podcast.
Oh, yep.
It's
You proved me
okay.
wrong.
Yeah,
Yep.
good job, man.
I'm sorry.
That's
My
okay.
bad, guys.
That's all right. That's all right. This is one take. Again, this is one take,
One take.
one moment. But
One moment.
yeah, one. What the heck?
Well,
I'm sorry.
That got deep.
That's all right. That's all right. Yes, right? Oh my gosh. It's like we're
Deep
on a Deep
Thoughts.
Thoughts episode
Whoa.
of the Roman Arena podcast. Wow. That's
crazy, man.
We say that a lot.
We do.
You guys don't hear us.
It's horrible.
Anyway, going back, cycling back around, going to like this vivid image. I literally just thought of this right now. I was thinking it's like where it's like, I don't know, not to be very graphic or anything, but it's like the pile of, there's like this image where it's like a sword and a ton of people trying to grab the sword, and it's like on top of like a pile of bodies.
I know what
or
you're talking about.
something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? I feel like the best friend struggle is like that, but less violent. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah. I feel like-
everybody's
well,
trying to
well,
claw
okay,
to the top. It's
that-
like
that-
King of the
that's-
Hill.
That's what it seems like for the person who is currently implying that, like the best friend, like this guy's my best friend, that guy's my best friend. That I feel like that's how it seems from that person's view, but it could probably be seen differently. I don't know, depending on the person, obviously.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, it's all of that feels like toxicity. Like it's violent in a different way than physical violence. Like
Emotional.
yeah, like pure toxicity. It's horrible. Being in that like power struggle with them, it's like you're helpless against them, especially when they have like 15 kids on their side.
Then we're gonna
Whoa,
come-
whoa, whoa. 15 kids.
Whoa, whoa, that's a
whoa.
that's a fight, bro.
That's a different topic. That's a different topic.
That's
for
another topic for another day. Maybe a Deep Thoughts episode 2.
two. Oh. No way.
Ooh, foreshadowing.
Would have never thought of that one.
But I guess we'll just wrap up the conversation of best friends. So I would say like let's summarize it real quick. Best friends are like arbitrary. Like having best friends implies a ranking system that makes it seem like one person's better than the others, and then it ends up being a hot mess that you have to end up fixing.
It's toxic.
Can I add something?
Yeah, please.
Oh,
It-
please.
Like the image you said about like a sword, like a pile of
Yeah,
people
yeah.
trying to get to the top. It also makes the person like saying like, "Oh, you're my best friend," or "You're not my best friend." It's kind of making you feel self-centered. Like you think like
That's
you're
a
like a
good point.
sword,
Amazing.
or you think that like the whole world just revolved around you, trying to compete for you, but like that's not necessarily true.
Mm-hmm. I would say so.
All popular kids were talking to you.
Whoa, we're not calling out.
Not shooting the bullet, but
Maybe at Roman.
maybe,
but-
maybe think about it. Maybe think about it.
Alrighty. I guess we'll wrap up there.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Roman Catholic Arena. if you would like to listen to the first inaugural podcast by Cole Solomon and Nick McGatz on on sports, please head to the, let me pull it up, romanarena.podbean.com, and there you can listen to all our podcasts. And if we get enough podcasts, because this is only the second episode, we will be uploading, I think, to iTunes or Apple Podcasts or something like that. But we'll keep you all posted, maybe next episode. So thank you for tuning in from the recording studio of the Roman Catholic Arena. We'll see you all later. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.
You've been listening to the Roman Arena Podcast, produced by the students of Roman Catholic High School in Philadelphia, the oldest diocesan high school in the United States. Be sure to subscribe to get new, fresh episodes and follow on social media for more. Thanks for listening to this episode. We'll see you next time on the Roman Arena Podcast.